Basta un tubo di games. It's hard to do.
No. Cool. Yeah, I know Eric. Okay, yeah, good. Yeah, my name is Saul Lopez, and I am. Hello, Saul. On my hair, also working on which is additional stuff.
Just forgive me because I haven't updated anything.
No
So Monday
problem.
night.
It's good to see you. No problem.
Likewise, I'm so
Good to
happy
see
you're
you.
here.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to help. And as a Gulag member, I want to make sure that
No, I told him. I didn't know there was one. I told him it was just going to be like a back-to-back customers straight where
I understand that sometimes yeah, absolutely.
Yep, true that.
But when it comes to any let's say issues, I always
Well, it's not disrespect to them. We just had bigger fish to fry, you know.
yeah,
So that's
well,
nice.
we've done a lot of community work together since we was a bit with a place of
Okay, I'm gonna make the rounds.
Yeah, no
Thank you,
problem.
because we're
Yeah.
just. I have him in the front row, and then I have to see where he's gonna speak. Kind of a lot. Where do they usually? Yeah, of course, there's you. I guess what we want is. Yeah. Because we need wisdom, because I don't know where they should. He just did. You know that we have to call No, no. They'll be the bats today. So the toys are.
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. Can you be mic'd up? What if they just turn the podium? Yeah, you can turn the podium. Well, then let's turn the podium. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they can come. All right, well, it'll be a few minutes. All right, hi, thanks for coming. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you can. Okay, thanks. How are you? Crazy? Hello, hello. I'm so glad I am.
David.
No, here at the front. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just gonna turn these down. Right? I know. So weird. And hi. Hi. Oh, we've talked. I know. How are you? We've never met each other in person. Good. So nice to put a face to a name. Yes.
Okay.
And I was just in a meeting with Meyer. Yes. I will follow up with her so we can think about humanitarian response.
Great.
Because if you can handle it, I mean, those are the scopes and things. So I'll follow up with her. Yes, he was there and he was approving everything.
Hi, Mayor. How are you? Good to see you. Good evening.
Yes.
Chief, how are you? Good to see you. Oh, okay.
So we're just waiting for a second.
No, I think we're getting out to say hello.
I know.
To us.
So we'll just take a minute.
Muy bien, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien. Es que
Sorry, Ronald. Can we get this turned around?
So you want to face it this way?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like I said, I was thinking about my cameras that face the podium, and
Yeah, we are.
I don't know.
Is that it?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here. I'm John Ewing, Mayor of Omaha, and I just want to express that we care deeply for the families affected by the recent ice raids and recognize the efforts of many organizations that have activated a rapid response team to provide legal aid, humanitarian support, and help reconnect children and youth with loved ones.
Buenas tardes, voy a hacer la parte en español. Nos importa profundamente el bienestar de las familias afectadas por las recientes redadas de ICE. Y no se escucha. Ok, ¿aquí mejor? Nos importa profundamente el bienestar de las familias afectadas por las recientes redadas de ICE y reconocemos los esfuerzos de las organizaciones que han activado un equipo de respuesta rápida para proporcionar asistencia legal, apoyo humanitario y ayudar a reconectar a los niños y jóvenes con sus seres queridos.
There are many ways to show support. First, check on neighbors and families to see how they are doing. Second, there are local organizations that help our immigrant communities here in Omaha, including by knowing what legal rights someone has. I've got someone on staff, Jennifer Rodriguez, who is our community relations and outreach coordinator, who has been working very closely with organizations and individuals to make sure that people are receiving the assistance they need.
Hay muchas maneras de mostrar apoyo. Primero, revisar con nuestros vecinos, familiares cercanos. Segundo, hay organizaciones también locales que apoyan a nuestras comunidades inmigrantes aquí en Omaha, incluso informando sobre derechos legales. También tenemos en el equipo de la oficina del alcalde representantes, en este caso mi nombre, Jennifer Rodríguez, quien ayuda a coordinar relaciones comunitarias y también con las relaciones públicas, que he estado trabajando en coordinación con algunas organizaciones, tratando de compartir información.
Third, we understand people want to show public support through demonstrations. If you choose to demonstrate, it is important to be peaceful and understand the city has requirements like permits for public demonstrations.
Tercero, entendemos que muchas personas quieren mostrar su apoyo públicamente a través de manifestaciones. Si decide manifestarse, es importante que sea de manera pacífica y que sepan que la ciudad requiere permisos para este tipo de actividades públicas.
We are aware of community-led effort response teams doing legal and humanitarian piece of support. This has been ongoing for several months now, working together that provide legal assistance, basic needs, support, and connecting those children and youth that are left behind with the proper relatives. So I want to take a second and just say thank you to all of the folks that are working with our immigrant population in these instances, because we know that children and families are impacted in a tremendous way when something like this happens.
Y estamos al tanto del esfuerzo comunitario liderado por un equipo de respuesta rápida que ha estado proporcionando apoyo legal, humanitario durante varios meses. Están trabajando juntos para brindar asistencia legal, cubrir necesidades básicas, ofrecer apoyo y reconectar a los niños y a los jóvenes que han sido dejados atrás con los familiares y con los familiares adecuados. Y queríamos reconocer a estas organizaciones que han estado trabajando con tiempo, apoyando a las familias y reuniéndolas.
There has been some question about the Omaha Police Department's role in this incident yesterday, and with us we have Chief Todd Schmaderer to address that issue.
Y ha habido muchas preguntas acerca de lo que ha sucedido el día de ayer, y también ahorita tenemos al oficial de policía que nos dé más información.
Would it be easier? Are you going to translate for me as well? Okay, no problem. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Todd Schmaderer. I'm Chief of Police for the City of Omaha. I want to go over the Omaha Police Department's knowledge of the event yesterday and when we became involved, what our role was. And then I'm going to take everybody through what the two protest sites entailed. First of all, the Omaha Police Department was made aware in an extremely general basis that ICE and Homeland Security may be coming to Omaha. That was about 10 days ago, right around that time frame. We didn't have any specifics. We didn't really have anything to pass on. It wasn't until the morning of yesterday in which we were contacted by the federal authorities, and they asked for traffic control. And we did provide traffic control just to ensure a safe environment. The Omaha Police Department did not have any role whatsoever in the detaining anybody in the inception of this operation or anything of that nature. We were peripheral with traffic control only. Once that was completed, we did segue to monitor and ensure a peaceful protest and ensure First Amendment rights at 2 protest sites. The first one was at 32nd and L Street, 33rd and L Street, right around that area. At its peak, there were 400 participants in this protest. There was no arrest made, and there was one assault report was taken on behalf of a protester. The second protest site was at 72nd and Dodge, and at its peak at 72nd and Dodge, there was 200 protesters. That protest venue, there was no issues, no violations, very minimal police involvement there at all, other than just monitoring. And then, of course, as the law enforcement agency for Omaha, we continue to monitor any impromptu protest, anything that may come up on the fly, and also this weekend as it may pertain to the College World Series or any protest of that like. So the demonstrations, protests, the role of the police department will be to ensure a safe environment, to enforce the laws. We try to get with everybody before to lay out what the laws are so that we do have that peaceful protest. But our primary objective is to ensure First Amendment rights, plain and simple. So we do encourage protest demonstrations. We just ask that it be done peacefully, work with the Omaha Police Department in advance, and it's the best way that we can ensure that. So I'm going to be available here for questions along with the mayor, I presume. And at this point in time, I'm going to step aside.
The mayor's office has also been involved with our partners from the county board as well as the city council and monitoring the circumstances with them as well. So we have with us today President of the county board, Mr. Roger Garcia, and also City Council President Danny Begley.
Good afternoon. I'm going to speak a little bit about the impact of these activities yesterday in Omaha. So we know that for those of us who live here, as we drive across the city on any normal day, we see our thriving, contributing immigrant community across the many sectors and vocations that they contribute to here in Omaha. We can drive down any road, and if there's a construction site, many times there's immigrant individuals there working the site, helping build our infrastructure. Here in Omaha, we go to a restaurant, many times there might be an immigrant population helping us serve some delicious food and cook up some delicious food. We have immigrant community involved in education, in all of our business sectors across the community, contributing to what we eat on our plate every meal, as well in the agriculture sector across Nebraska, which is very much immigrant heavy and contributes to our nutrition every day. So we see the contributions, and we also see the impact that can happen when even one person from a family member is all of a sudden disappears, for that family. And, mom is gone, dad is gone, a child is gone. When we hear a story, a newsline of one family member going away all of a sudden, that alone is very traumatizing to a community. Now we can envision approximately 80 family members in one day, all of a sudden, to that family, disappearing. We don't know where they went. We don't know where they're going. And we don't know what the future holds for them. So I speak from the perspective of the immigrant community, the Latino community, and those who care about the individuals affected and impacted yesterday. There are still a lot of unanswered questions, which we welcome clarification for. We welcome more information in regards to who has been detained, a list of names, where they're being held, where they're going to be detained, and any other details that would be helpful, as there are, of course, as mentioned, many individuals in the community that want to help, want to contribute resources to the impacted families, make sure they have legal representation, and so forth. So we do give our thanks to everybody who stepped up yesterday. There was a great deal of organizations and individuals who spent all day trying to sort through what really was a chaotic tornado of information, because we didn't know what was true and what was not. We spent all day trying to verify stories of, are they actually at this location or are they not at this location? And so we welcome more information now and in any other circumstance we may need it. Of course, we wish as an impacted community that these large-scale operations do not continue to happen, as we understand, of course, being a supporter of law enforcement and of community safety, if there are individuals here or in any other city that is truly involved in high-level criminal activity, the obvious ones of physical assault, sexual assault, murders, criminal activity, cartel activity, any serious crime, of course we understand those individuals will meet their repercussions from a law perspective and law enforcement perspective. We understand that. But the individuals caught up yesterday, at least from the personal stories that I am aware of, did not fit that profile. I have a loving wife, who many of you know in this audience. Her aunt, her mother's sister, has been detained. She's lived here for decades. She's raised a family here. She's contributed back to the Omaha community and economy. From our perspective, we can assure you she was not involved in any high-level criminal activity. I have college friends who have had their mothers detained as well. So I'm just telling a very honest narrative of how this impacts our community. We want to work well with all levels of law enforcement, from local to federal, to truly tackle any high-level crimes and address those concerns and keep our community safe always, while also having a heart for individuals who are here raising families, contributing to our economy and our society, and might be in an undocumented status, but that's it. They're in that status, but also at the same time, members of our community who have, in many cases, been here for decades, who have, in many cases, never had any kind of criminal activity in their profile at all. And so those are the things that we have some concerns about. Those are some things that, big picture, the reverberations that have come across the community to instill continued fear and anxiety, as we don't know if these kind of activities will continue today, across the week. And so there's a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of continued fears. Our thriving 24th Street business community shut down yesterday in the afternoon. Some of those business owners have decided to not open their doors today. So we just want to have that sense of peace. We are called to be peacemakers and not agents of the contrary. So we want to all partner to restore that peace and vibrancy that we know Omaha is. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Now we have City Council President Danny Begley.
Good afternoon, everyone. The last couple days have kind of shaken everybody here in our community. And as the new council president, I've worked with Mayor Ewing here, who's hit the ground running with great connection and knowledge of trying to help people the best we can. I've gotten contacts in my office. I appreciate Commissioner Garcia, the great work he does for our community and the impacts that this is having. I don't have family members like Commissioner Garcia that are impacted, but like many of you, I have family and friends that are teachers in our local school systems, and we know the impacts of the families that are taking place here with the raids in the last couple days. We can't do this enough to provide the information for people. I've been trying to share it on my social media and anybody that contacts my office. The Center for Immigration Refugee Advancement, many of us have heard about that the last day or two. Many of us have known about it for a long time. That number is 402-884-0876. How can we help the people that are impacted? That's one. The second one is donations to the Heartland Workers Center. You can contact 402-933-6095. And they're located down at 4923 South 24th Street in Old South Omaha. Also, another resource is the Nebraska Immigration Legal Services Hotline. They're located at 4223 Center Street. They have pro bono services that are available for those that are impacted. That number is a toll-free number of 855-307-6730. I'll continue to do all I can to help people in the community that have been impacted by this and their lives set upside down. But I want to thank again Mayor Ewing for the good communication we've had, and I want to partner with him and everybody here today to make the dignity of the families that have been impacted by this, to try to make it as helpful as we can for our community, because that's what they need the most here today and every day. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Next, we have the city's Human Rights and Relations Director, Kaylin DeLihalis.
Hi, everyone. I'm the director of the Human Rights and Relations Department. The department is responsible for investigating allegations of discrimination in employment, housing, and public accommodations. We do economic development. We have a restorative justice program that we partner to facilitate. We do a lot of outreach and education, and we're working on the Poverty Elimination Action Plan for Omaha right now. I'm going to speak in Spanish as well. Hola, yo soy la directora de la Oficina de Derechos Humanos. Nosotros investigamos alegaciones de discriminación en empleo, casa y lugares públicos. También tenemos programas de desarrollo económico y un programa de justicia restaurativa. Nosotros hacemos mucha educación pública y estamos trabajando en un plan para eliminar la pobreza en Omaha. I don't support a culture of fear. Yo no apoyo una cultura de miedo. I am very impressed by our community coming together to provide so many resources and being prepared to support one another. Estoy profundamente orgullosa de la comunidad para llegar con recursos para apoyar a sí mismo. I want to share a few of the resources today. 3 of our consulates are here right now. The Mexican consulate, who you can reach in an emergency at 402-312-5006, or their general number is 402-595-1841. Pueden llamar al Consulado de México, que está aquí ahorita con nosotros. El número de emergencia es 402-312-5006 y el número general es 402-595-1841. The Consulate of El Salvador, you can reach at 402-502-1030. El Consulado de El Salvador puede llamar al 402-502-1030. And the Consulate of Guatemala, you can reach at 531-910-0236. You can, and in emergency, 531-999-0083. Eso es, el Consulado de Guatemala pueden llegar a 531-910-0236. De emergencia es 531-999-0083. There are 2 other resources which Council President Bagley mentioned, and I'll mention them in Spanish. Hay 2 recursos más que voy a mencionar en español, que es el Heartland Workers Center. Y puede llamar al Heartland Workers Center a 402-933-6095. Ellos tienen información sobre sus derechos, cómo planear con una familia y información para empresas. The Heartland Worker Center has information for Know Your Rights, family safety planning, and for business owners, and more. The Center for Immigrant and Refugee Advancement, lo voy a decir solo en inglés, es a 402-884-0876. Y ellos tienen representación y ayuda legal. My office is always here to communicate information to the public, to share resources, and to hear back from people. So please be in touch if you need information or have information. We're always here for that. Mi oficina siempre está aquí para apoyar al público. Si tiene información que quiere compartir, si necesita información, puede siempre estar en contacto con nosotros. Gracias.
Thank you. And I will offer a brief summary, and then we'll take any questions that you all may have. Oh, Jennifer. Okay, I'm sorry. We also have our South Omaha Community Liaison, Jennifer Rodriguez. Sorry.
But just briefly, just wanted to highlight the community work that we're doing together. Also wanted to highlight the community work that we're doing together. The organizations are coming together, like Heartland Worker Center, CIRA as well, the Consulate in Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador. And so we open our doors and we welcome all the community organizations as well that want to help our community. And also, just like our mayor mentioned, I am the community relations and outreach coordinator, so also I'm able to here for any questions and support the community. En español, prácticamente ahorita quería nada más recalcar nuevamente la comunicación y la colaboración que se ha tenido con las organizaciones, por ejemplo, como Heartland Worker Center, la organización de CIRA, los consulados de México, el consulado de Guatemala y el consulado de El Salvador también. Y abrimos las puertas y oportunidades a las organizaciones que quieran colaborar con nosotros para ayudar a la comunidad. Y de nuevo, mi nombre es Jennifer Rodríguez, coordinadora de Relaciones y de Comunidad, y aquí para cualquier pregunta o también si quieren más información. Gracias.
Okay, thank you. Now I will offer just a brief summary of yesterday. We received word of the raid, and then we began with Jennifer, Kaylin, Chief Schmaderer, my Chief of Staff, Tom Warren, our Assistant Chief Deputy for Communications, Aaron Grace, try to find out what the facts were. One of the things we don't believe is appropriate is for us to make comments without knowing the facts, because then we become part of the problem and part of the hysteria. So we wanted to find answers. We found those answers. We were going to do a press conference yesterday afternoon. We were told that there was going to be a demonstration. And so we knew if we did a press conference, then I'd probably be talking to an empty room. So we didn't do that because we wanted to give this issue the attention that it deserves. That's why we set a time for a press conference so that we could share what we knew and what we did, and our partners as well that have done a great job of assisting families. Because at the end of the day, this truly impacts children and families. And if you know anything about my background from the Omaha Police Department, you know that I care about children and families. So we wanted to get the services in place. We wanted to get people the help they needed, and we wanted to provide an accurate story. So what we've done today is provided the information that we knew and shared that with you. Certainly, this does impact our community, and it does create fear. We understand when we go and we arrest people that are violent offenders, people who have committed serious crimes. And I'm all for that as mayor of this city and a public servant for 43 and a half years. But we want to ensure that people are treated fairly and that they have due process in the course of these things. So with that, we will answer any questions that you might have. Yes.
In regards to the raids yesterday, can you tell me about what time you guys found out about it versus what time it actually happened? And then also, I also have a question for...
Sure, and he would be better to answer that question about when we found out as well.
I can repeat it if you like. Can you tell me what time you found out about the raids yesterday versus when the raids actually happened?
Question was, what time did we find out about the raids versus when they happened? We got called for traffic control pretty much as they were staging, so it was pretty close in time proximity. We weren't involved in any of the pre-planning or the pre-staging or anything of that nature. We found out right before we received word that they needed traffic control, and we responded at that point. That's essentially it.
You also said about 10 days ago you received information that the federal government, DHS, somebody was coming.
Yep.
Can you tell me where you got that information? Was it?
I can't. Yeah, it's going to be classified, and we're not in the business of committing any crimes. I can't divulge certain things from a law enforcement perspective. What I can tell you though is it was so general in nature, and even the time and the date, and it was that nebulous. Okay, so we just received general awareness. Did not know what was coming, what day, what time, or anything of that nature, and definitely not a location. I'm not sure on the exact detainment numbers. The last I heard, it was over 70 were detained. As far as the location where that detainment is, I'm not at liberty to say. I have no idea, because here's why I don't know, because we're not a part of this operation. Our role from the Omaha Police Department was simply traffic control and to ensure the protests were as peaceful as possible. We did not intervene involved in the raid enforcement piece at all, nor do we have an operational role in processing any detainees, and nor do they inform us of that. The Omaha Police Department, it's really out of our hands at this point once they enter into the detainment of ICE or Homeland Security.
The question was, do we have any indication of any future raids? And we've heard a lot of talk, but we don't have anything specific that tells us that this is going to happen again. So we're hoping that it doesn't, obviously, because of the chaos it creates in the community, but we don't have any specific information.
Can you tell me a little bit about the other organizations involved? I know it wasn't just the Omaha Police Department who was asking help. Was it a coordinated effort? Did you know that other organizations were asking?
So the coordinating, give me a second here and I'll pull it up. The question of me was what agencies were involved in this and what agencies coordinated and actually facilitated in the raid per se?
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously it was U.S. Customs, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. Homeland Security had a role. The Department of Justice, the FBI, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration, United States Marshal Service, Internal Revenue Service had a role, and the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, and those would be your federal agencies that were involved. Locally, you had the Omaha Police Department doing traffic control. The State Patrol had a role. I'm not 100% sure what theirs was. Douglas County Sheriff's Department assisted us with traffic.
Did you have a question?
I do, yes. Chief, when you say you're not at liberty to say where they're detained, does that mean you don't know or you can't say?
It means I can't say.
Do the families know?
I have no idea.
You can't tell that? Can you tell that?
No, I cannot. I mean, I as a law enforcement officer, there is certain information that I can't divulge. Otherwise, I enter into committing a crime, and I just can't. Yeah, I don't know. The question was, have the families been informed as to where their loved ones are at? I don't know. Those would be questions posed for some of the federal agencies that I just listed. I absolutely don't know that answer.
hear you.
Yes.
I'd like to know if, step back for a second, if the administration, do you support these worksite raise? And can you talk about whether you have any influence at all in whether they're
Sure. The question was, do I support these workplace raids and do I have any influence? The answer to both questions, unfortunately, on the second one, but the first question is I certainly do not support them. The second question, I don't have any influence on how this is done.
you know why, why was Omaha targeted at this point in time? And what can you tell me about what you know about that and what your personal feelings are?
Sure, I don't know why. I can speculate, which I don't do. And so I can only tell you publicly that I don't know why Omaha was targeted. And I believe you were.
Kind of just answer this, but does it bother you that this happened? And for you, what's your message to the public here?
Absolutely. Well, my first message to the public is to know that we are with them. We will work with the agencies that are doing great work for those citizens or those members of our community. We have our staff working on this, partnering with people and getting people informed as well. So we will continue to do that, do everything we can to support them.
A question for President Garcia?
I think you have.
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Okay.
I think that the question that I heard from the protesters yesterday that I want to let you respond to is OPD is not involved in immigration enforcement and wants members of the community to just stay calling 911 regardless of their legal status. Why then would uniformed OPD officers aid ICE during immigration action?
So let me paraphrase your question.
Yeah, it's a long question.
Yeah. If the Omaha Police Department is not involved in any aspect of this, why were there uniformed patrol officers at the scene?
Why would they aid ICE?
And why would they aid ICE? My answer to that is we weren't part of the aiding function of this. We were peripheral to ensure traffic enforcement, to ensure public safety as it traversed up and down that line. As far as the planning, as far as the raid, as far as knowledge of the operation, anything of that nature, as far as entering into the building, Omaha Police Department did not have a role in that. Now, it is on a public streets nearby, and so it would be prudent to have law enforcement there just to ensure that aspect is peaceful. And then, of course, we did transfer into monitoring the protest sites to ensure First Amendment liberties were intact, first and foremost, and then just to make sure things stayed peaceful there. That was our role in this. It did not extend any further than that, and it won't in the future as well.
Can you speak to the appearance, though, that
What?
I mean, OPD is on scene here as the first point of contact for many of the protesters?
Sure. The follow-up question was, can I speak to the appearance that we were there and the appearance that we may have been involved? And that appearance, I'm going to presume, I'm going to add this, can cause some in our community to wonder, is the Omaha Police Department someone to be fearful of? Will we be checking for immigration papers? Will we be checking people's status? I can assure the public that the Omaha Police Department will not be involved in checking immigration status, legal status in our community. That is not our mission. Our mission is public safety. Our mission is police community relations. Our mission is that for this reason. I need victims to come forward. They will not come forward if they're fearful of Omaha Police Department being immigration officers. I need witnesses to come forward. I don't want an underlying bed of crimes that are occurring that we're not unaware of, and that victim can't get any help because of immigration status. That's why I want to make it very clear to our community that's deeply affected by what took place yesterday. At any time, you can reach out to the Omaha Police Department, 911, flag us down, call us, go to one of our stations, and we will never alter what we do to check your legal status. It is only after an arrest is made for a significant crime, serious crime, at that point in time, immigration status would be checked, but not by the police department. That's about the crisp as I can say it.
And I think I was very clear in the press release yesterday as well that the Omaha Police Department is not going to be engaged in immigration enforcement. That is a continuation of a practice and policy under the previous mayor, and I supported that during the campaign, and I support that now. That will always be our stance for this community as long as I'm mayor of Omaha, Nebraska.
Mayor, you could say no to my question. We are not part of the working press with Blue Line, the
Sure.
nation's oldest and largest
Sure.
civil rights organization. Mr. Mayor and Chief, I am very impressed as I look upon this meeting, the people you have assembled here that I am hearing. I've been doing this a long time. Mr. Mayor, we're going to leave from here. We're going to go to D.C. We were in L.A., now we stopped here. We're going to go back to D.C. What do you want us to carry as your message to the members of Congress? We're nonpartisan.
Sure.
What can we tell Congress that you want?
The thing I would want you to tell Congress is let's develop a comprehensive immigration policy that actually works. Right now, what is happening across this country is a lot of fear is being created. We don't have a comprehensive or even understandable approach to immigration, especially when it comes to our Latino members of this country. And so I would want them to come up with a comprehensive immigration plan that they've been talking about for decades and do something that helps hardworking people in these communities be able to have an opportunity to become citizens of this country because they are contributing to our cities. They are contributing to our states, and they are contributing to our nation. So let's do this in a way that makes sense. That's not soft on crime or anything. It's humanitarian. These are people. These are not statistics. So let's take care of the people in our cities, in our state, and in our country.
Oh, wait, okay. Sorry. Mayor Ewing, could you explain your concerns about the volatility of the current political climate?
Yes. What I see is a lot of uncertainty, and I see a lot of chaos, and I see a lot of fear where people shut down businesses yesterday. People shut down a community college yesterday. People shut down a library yesterday. Those things create uncertainty and fear and keep our city from being as productive and as welcoming as I would like us to be.
Have you spoken to mayors from other cities who are currently dealing with problems like these?
I have not spoken to them. I've reached out to some of them, and then some of them have reached out to me. I've been doing mayor stuff today, so I have not been able to have those conversations. But yes, we will have those conversations as well. Yes, sir.
Mayor, given the timing of everything that has happened, especially with the spotlight this week being politics series and having thousands of people come to Omaha for this weekend and this weekend, what's the city doing to prepare for potential protests and anything of that?
Our Omaha Police Department is always preparing, and they're always looking at what the possibilities are, what the contingencies are, and I believe they've got a great plan to help make sure any protests or demonstrations that we have will be peaceful, and we will do whatever we can to make sure we're also being good hosts for the people traveling from other parts of the country to our great city. Yes.
With Blue Line visiting, they released a statement yesterday saying they intended on speaking with you and Chief Schmatter, I believe a couple other people too. Has that happened yet, and do you plan on doing that?
If they have time, I am going to meet with them after this meeting because I literally had 2 press conferences before this today. And then we have other budget meetings and things that we have to do as well, but we would be glad to meet with them. Yes. You're always worried about trust when you're in law enforcement because it's a very fragile thing. And so you have to continue to do the work every day. That's what I did for my 24 years and 9 months with the police department, was work on that every day. And I know Chief Smotterer does that as well.
So I will add to that. Obviously, trust with our community is really paramount. It's how we keep crime low. It's how we keep people safe. It adds a good element to our city when the police and the community work together. I would ask for some assistance on that front from everybody in the room, from the media, everybody in this room. So many things are thrown out there when something large happens, as did yesterday in our community. So many rumors, so many things get out there. There has to be credible messengers. There has to be information taken back to disseminate what is actually occurring and what is not occurring. And that's one of the prime reasons the mayor held this press conference today, to really delineate what took place, and then the rest we can just say, okay, that did not happen, that was a rumor. And so I would ask that we all take this time as partners in this. Let's get the record straight as to what took place yesterday. And as we move forward, there are going to continue to be rumors, and we get that. We totally understand that. The Omaha Police Department has an intelligence unit. We're constantly monitoring what's going on. We try to get in front of it and dispel rumors. It wasn't but 10 minutes ago that we put out on our social media dispelling the rumor that our Latino Peace Officers Association had information on future raids or anything like that. They don't. That bulletin was not accurate. It was fake. And they labeled it as our Latino Peace Officers Association. So it's those types of things that we need help with. When that occurs, we're going to put it out as fast as possible, and we need media to repeat it as well when that comes up.
News Nation did an exclusive story last night where they were inside when the raid was happening, and there were emergency medical services people there. Was Omaha Fire involved? Do we know who is exactly involved with that?
I have not received any information to indicate they were, but I just don't know.
I'm not sure if they actually came to the scene, but I did hear of a potential exposure incident that occurred inside. If that was the case, the Omaha Fire Department would come and provide treatment. And by all means, if somebody's hurt inside that building during the course of this raid or any other time, the fire department's going to come and they're going to render aid. When you come into this city, as far as I'm concerned, as far as Chief Bossman, who's the fire chief, is concerned, when you're in our city, we don't care what your status is, what's going on, but you deserve the protection of the police department. You deserve the Omaha Fire Department, Fire and Rescue, to come to your aid if you need something. That's the way we view it.
Last question. Mayor, I'm wondering if you communicated with Governor Pillen of the Woodside raid operation, and who has released a statement. And I'm curious how philosophically you handle if there's a conflict in the way that you see these.
I have not talked to Governor Pillen. I have not seen his statement, so I can't speculate on what he said. What I will always try to do is work with the governor and other leaders in this community, just as we have with members of the city council and the county board. But we are going to look at what we believe is best for the people of Omaha.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.